Pretty sure I just smashed my phone. We're back in the car. What are we gonna rage to? Probably rage. Alright, what's going on, everybody? We're headed out on a barn loop. It's been a long time since I've done one of these. So we are returning to some climbing. And this is capping off kind of first week back. I just thought it'd be fun. Kind of push it a little bit. So we are headed out. It'll be about 12 miles. 3 big climbs in there. I'll try to build into it. But like, I don't know. We're still coming back, I think. Even though we're running again after Buffalo, I don't think I'm feeling 100, but less miles and more fast ones, so it's been kind of fun. Yeah, so honestly, I guess we'll just kind of compare. Maybe let's see where I'm at. We're gonna be in the sun the whole time, so that's definitely different from doing these in the dark at 30 degrees. Now we're doing it in the sun at 70, so a little bit different. So we'll see how it goes. And yeah, I'll let you know how I'm feeling, where I'm at. Post Buffalo vibes. What's the game plan for the summer? You guys probably want to know. First, you got to get a run done. There goes my car keys. Two miles in, I think I'm already sweating. Stopped at one crosswalk for a long time, waiting on the light. Other than that, I think we're doing about 840s. Feels good. .3 in, about to go into the first hill. This is one of the longer ones, but it's long. I don't know, maybe like a half mile, but I'm at 4.34. Maybe I'll check in at the top. We'll see how long it is and see how crappy I feel at the top. .05, pretty cooked. Climb was all in the shade though, so that was nice. Probably like 8:55s. It's pretty good for me. I'm also probably going too fast, but that's why I brought my phone. I'm having fun. We're cooking, and we'll just ride the wave. We got. There's a back door out of this workout. I have every intention going out through the front. No Irish goodbyes. Okay. And just like that, 5.51, going into climb number 2. This one's the shortest. .83. We've hit the summit of the whole ride. Now we just gotta get down, and there's one more climb left. It's definitely the steepest. Accountability check here. The next time I complain about my knee, someone comment like, push your dang hips forward, Kyle. Engage your dang glutes. And if you go to comment that and you already see it, like it, so that I can perpetually hyper focus on one comment that has a bunch of likes telling me to drive my dang hips forward, because it totally helps my knee. Yeah, instantly I feel like my knee goes from this annoying little kind of ache to, oh, I feel like my whole body's engaged. And it just takes a load off. So, yeah, booyah. Do that if you want. It's cool if you don't. It's pretty nice out here though. Time for water. 7 miles on the dot. Just went through that construction site. I like jumped over a cone because it was one-way traffic and there was someone coming towards me. And like, as I leapt off the ground, both feet, my calves, both like seized in the moment. So I can tell you that the climbing is cooking. The cook's in the kitchen, I'd say. So yeah, 7 miles, 4 minutes to save the world, Madonna. Let's just get to the top of this. Super steep, 7.33. If I haven't hit like a high through my anaerobic threshold, lactate threshold, that was it. Definitely probably just skyrocketed. But hey, it's all downhill from here. Get to take a gel in like 0.6. Pretty good times. It's cooking though a little bit. We are cooking. This is good. Nine miles. Done with just about all the climbing. It's encouraging knowing there's only a 5K left, but pretty cooked. Doing about 8:20s, I think, right now. Hopefully, we can just cook for 5K, bring our average pace down a bit, get a really great workout in, and then rest for a couple of days, man. I'm liking this. Less days on the feet, more fun miles. That's what the summer's about, huh? Getting faster. All the marathoners are trying to get a new 10K, 5K PR. Feeling quick, baby. Barn loop done, 12 miles, 1 hour, 48 minutes. I did walk a block, but I'm pretty sure that's like at least a couple minutes faster than I've ever run it. So we are going to review and compare this against other runs of the exact same caliber, but like 30 degrees colder from months ago. So yeah, pretty good signs for the beginning of summer, I think. But I'll see you in a second. How was that for a transition? Okay, I promise I'm being real serious for this one. So yeah, you just saw the footage, barn looped. This is something I've talked about quite a few times on this channel. I always say like, there's another barn loop, or I did the barn loop with the boys. And you don't know what the barn loop is unless you've looked me up on Strava, which you can do and follow me on Strava and you'll get way more information. But if you don't, and you only watch videos occasionally here, maybe for the entertainment, comedic value, I'm gonna tell you about it. I told you about it a little bit on the run. Now we're gonna go over it, and I'm gonna tell you a little bit about kind of the climbs, and then I'm actually gonna go back and kind of tell you about like basically how I've done in the barn loop over the last like 8 months. Teaser, I've done it 11 times now. So there's some pretty good stats on me doing the barn loop. But today I'm very sore from it. 12 miles. The actual barn loop is about 11.6 or so, but I always round it out to 12 because who's doing 11.6? Today was a 9:04 average pace. Splits were very consistent aside from the first mile was a bit slower because I had to wait over a minute at a traffic stop that is like under a highway. It's the only point that's really busy on this run. If you go early in the morning, you don't run into this. It was like already 7:30 when I went. So I had to stop, unfortunately, and I eventually just booked it. The other moment where I obviously slowed down was later on, a slower mile. Basically, I was coming out of the run and I was totally overcooked and could feel myself kind of overheating. And If this was later on, maybe I would push it. If I was actually later on in a training block, I would push it more here. But I honestly felt like I'd given it a really good go. I got over 10 miles, really high effort in here. And I knew that I wanted to just, get back to the car and have an okay day for the rest of my day. Like, we're going out to dinner in a little bit. Like, I got to be able to entertain, But, I talked about the climbs while filming out there, and just to kind of go over them, climb 1 was at mile 4.4 to 5 miles. I can talk. It averages about a 7% grade when I looked back on Strava, which I don't know. I feel like all these climbs are pretty aggressive. I realized that the second climb is definitely the shortest, which you don't really get when you're doing it. But looking back on Strava, you totally do. So yeah, this one, 0.6 miles with a 7% grade. And I averaged about a 9-minute pace here. I definitely had moments where I was doing kind of like 8:30s, but then definitely had moments where I was doing closer to 9:30s according to Strava. So we rounded things out to about a 9-minute pace there with some fluctuation. And this really kind of, you go down a downhill after doing this, 0.6 mile climb. You start out in some neighborhoods. Let me pretense that. Neighborhoods, flat. Then you go downhill a little bit, and then you do that 4.4 mile climb. At 4.4, you do that first climb. You come down, literally just you go down maybe like a half mile or so, and then you start the second climb at 5.5 miles, and it's only 0.3 miles the total climb. Average grade 4.5%, and I averaged about 8:20s. So that makes sense. I was trying to push pretty hard, and this was a less aggressive climb, bit shorter, but it's also coming off the first one. So if you're doing it pretty all out, you can get pretty cooked pretty easily. I don't know why, I just got really scared. I wasn't even recording. And so then you push onward. Let's see. You kind of have a long winding downhill before you meet climb number 3, which is by far, it's got to be one of the steepest things around here, in the Albany area. Climb 3 is the 7 mile point to 7.3. So short again, but it ranges from 7.7 at its lowest percent grade to an 11.1% grade. And it definitely feels like you're climbing up a wall. And again, this was something where I just wrote, I averaged about 10-20 miles here, 10-20 pace. It was definitely kind of moments where I was going like a 9:30, and then definitely moments where I was going closer to like an 11 towards the end. It's steep. I don't know what people consider steep out there, but I think that's quite the climb, which is why, and then you still got 5 miles to complete your barn loop. So if you're pushing it pretty hard and you're getting through kind of those parts in the middle, the climbs, the downhills, you can get pretty worked. So this is why I choose to, I do quite a bit of running on the barn loop. It has good climbing, it has good downhills, and it's back roads. So it's kind of entertaining. It's out in the the middle of nowhere, kind of, but just outside the city, really. So yeah, overall, this was, I'll pretense this was my most successful barn loop. And, I came away thinking, man, I even walked, a block, and I got held up at that stoplight, but I still, still seems like one of my fastest. It's probably twice as hot, if not hotter than, the last time I was doing this was January, February. So literally peak winter, super cold, way easier on heart rate, I would say. For me, it just seems to be easier for me to run in the cold. And I was kind of like, man, that was pretty great. It was kind of fun. It was hard. I think I took a break at the perfect timing, but I wanted to look back and see how that stacked up against, other runs I've done. Boom, had to make a spreadsheet for this. And as I was looking through, first of all, Strava, I had to go back and rename a handful of workouts to at least include barn loop in the title. So now when you go back on the desktop in Strava, I can search barn loop in parentheses, and it will show me every time I've done the barn loop, even if I had other things included in the title. So the first time I did the barn loop was October 7th, 2023. It was 14.29 miles total because I did it from my apartment. I was moving for just about 2.5 hours, and I averaged a 10:20 pace. This was October. It was definitely cooler temps. A couple weeks later, I did it again. 12 miles total time, 1 hour, 56 minutes and 13 seconds. And I averaged a 9:41 pace. That's actually my third fastest pace on the barn loop. So 9:41, by no means also with any of these efforts, the one I did today was by far the highest effort. And it's
summer, so it's hot. So all of these were kind of just like, I think just going for runs, sometimes doing some quick miles, but generally these were just my 2-hour runs on the weekends. My second fastest, I'm skipping over a ton here from 11/4/2023 to 1/6/2024. 1/14/2024. We did 13.3 total miles. Total moving time was 2 hours, 7 minutes and some change. But the average pace was 9:34s. And I kind of took off that 13 miles to say it was a moving time of 1 hour, 58 minutes. So that was the second time to that point that I'd done a barn loop in under 2 hours. And then today, 12 miles, an hour and 48 minutes, with an average pace of 9:04s. So even with everything that went down today in terms of walking, held up at the light, it was pretty hot. It got into the 70s and I was in the sun the whole time. Yeah, we still took 10 minutes off our fastest barn loop. And yeah, some good climbing. I thought it was important to tell you a little bit more about the barn loop because it's a run, I feel like even with the guys on the podcast and, pretty much anyone who's listened to the podcast and they meet me in person, whether it's a friend, a family, or a stranger, it's always, something about the barn loop. So I think me and Sean, he's one of the guys on the podcast. We just did it for weeks and weeks, and yeah, it's a really good run. If you're looking for, about 12 miles of grueling ups and downs. But yeah, hope everyone can enjoy their summers out there. I'll try to make as many videos about, whatever I'm doing running wise, and obviously stay safe. I'll see you in the next one. Peace. We'll see how this is a Tiffin Pro Mist, Black Pro Mist diffusion filter. It's a quarter is like the level of diffusion.